This is Good Evening San Diego.
Wagner leader Yevgeny Prigozhin is confirmed dead after an airplane that he was riding in crashed in Russia. Russia's air transport agency confirming that the mercenary was indeed on board that plane. It was flying between Moscow and St. Petersburg. Prigozhin gained international attention back in June when he and paramilitary group Wagner led an uprising in Russia. Russia's state media is reporting that there are not believed to be any of the survivors among the 7 passengers and 3 crew members on board. So joining us now to weigh in is retired U.S. Navy captain and search and rescue expert Armin Kurdian. Armin, great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Logan. Good evening to you.
Boy, what do you make of this plane crash, the coincidence, the death of a man who led that short-lived mutiny against Russia? He's been very vocal against the country's leader, and now he's dead in a plane crash.
Pure coincidence, right? This is like Russia's version of Homeland meets House of Cards. There's 3 facts that we know. The aircraft crashed, Prigozhin's name was on the manifest, and that his death is reported by Russian state media and also Wagner social media. And there's 2 facts I think we can be pretty darn certain of, is that 1, Russian media would not report his death if they hadn't confirmed it and hadn't observed it, because it would be kind of foolish for them to see Prigozhin pop up at another location. And second, the chances of this happening on its own as an accident, while possible, are extremely remote. This is too much of a target of opportunity for Putin or his defense secretary, Sergei Shoigu, to have not taken advantage of, to see all of Prigozhin and his henchmen in one place at one time, which for Prigozhin, really, quite frankly, is a terrible error in force protection in making it very easy for him to be taken out like this.
Well, are you learning what might have happened to the plane? Are there, I hate to say any guesses, but I mean, how do you bring down a plane?
Well, looking at the video that we've seen, missing part of a wing, it's consistent with a couple of things. Either there was some catastrophic failure with the engine, which caused it to come off, which is not unheard of. It has happened. But the chances of it happening on its own in this situation are very, very remote. This is an Embraer business jet, a fairly new model, very reliable, excellent safety record. So that's very unlikely. It's more than likely that it was taken down by a surface-to-air missile. That's the prevailing thought right now. And it's possible that U.S. intelligence knows or bring down what has brought down the aircraft, but they're just not saying because they don't want to give away that capability. Now, having said that, obviously bringing down a commercial aircraft with a SAM like this is a very overt act. And I think we are way past the point where Putin is pretending that he is not behind the disappearance or death of dozens of his political foes. He is by far the most ruthless leader of Russia or the Soviet Union since Joseph Stalin, and he's making it very well known that he is in charge for the long haul.
So does Russia now investigate this? Can the United States ask some questions? What if it was taken down? What does the U.S. do? I mean, what happens with all of this?
We can ask all the questions we want. I don't know that we're going to get a straight answer. We do need to keep in mind, of course, Prigozhin had the Wagner Group. He was the leader of that group, which has been active all over the world. Wagner Group was designated for terrorist activity, and they've done some pretty horrible things. Central African Republic, the Sudan. They're operating in Syria, so it's not like Prigozhin was a great guy. You don't know who would you rather have leading the country, Putin or Prigozhin. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions and concern. I think the bigger question is not whether Prigozhin was assassinated by Putin. I think the bigger question for U.S. intelligence and our military is, what is the current state of this mutiny, this coup that Prigozhin was trying to foment within Russia? How many Russian generals and admirals or members within the government was he able to co-opt, bring onto his side, trying to say, look, he's bleeding us dry in this Ukraine war. I'm a big patriot. I love my country and the motherland, but this is crazy. He's going to get us all killed. So now we have to see if this movement will continue in another way or whether it is extinguished. And Putin will have a more of a free hand to continue the war in Ukraine. He just had his Air Force general dismissed. Other folks have been pushed out of windows or poisoned with polonium. So we'll have to wait and see what actually happens.
Well, briefly, Armin, what do you think happens with the group there? I mean, does somebody else just kind of step in and take over, or maybe a side group forms and they have a similar group?
Well, the Wagner 25,000 of these fighters, 5 to 10,000 are hardened ex-military. The rest are conscripts who are basically fighting for their freedom. Whether they get absorbed into the Russian military is yet to be seen. These guys were getting paid really well, up to $60,000 and more. Pilots, tank drivers, infantrymen, other kinds of engineers, really, top of the line guys, very good at what they do. So if they are continuing to get paid, if they continue to see this stream of money coming in for their work, they're going to continue to fight for Russia in whatever capacity is there. They may not care so much. They may be far removed from the leadership. They just want to go out and fight and do Russia's bidding and get that fat paycheck, which for a Russian citizen is a lot of money. So the Wagner Group is going to continue in one form or another, and they're going to continue to operate around the world.
Armin Kurdian for us. Thanks, Armin. Thanks for all the insight.
Thanks, Logan. Have a nice evening.
You too.